What's going on, guys? Welcome back to AJ Porter Golf in the weekly recap of What's the Difference. The whole goal of this weekly recap is for those who maybe don't have time to sit down for the entire hour to listen to our guests, to break it up into digestible pieces so they can still follow along with the journey of What's the Difference. So, what's the difference? Ultimately, we're on a path and a mission to try and figure out what those difference makers are. Right now, it's in golf. It may evolve to business and life and something else at a later date. Ultimately, right now, it's in golf, specifically professional level, but it can also be applied to, a 15 handicap that wants to get down to 5. So, what we're trying to do is build a list of these are the must and required items to elevate your game to a next level. So, week number 1, we had Scott Fawcett from Decade Golf. He said that you must have 180 ball speed, you must be an excellent lag putter, and you must meditate. So, this week we had Ryan Sullivan on the podcast. He's played 2 U.S. Opens. He's had status on Korn Ferry Tour, played a number of Korn Ferry Tour and Big Tour events, one on PGA Tour Latin. I'd say he knows what he's talking about. He said, yes, that speed is incredibly important in his opinion. While 180 doesn't particularly have to be that exact number, it definitely needs to be over 170. Meaning for, players that are out there that are below that threshold, that can definitely be something that you can take advantage of if that's a gap in your game. Maybe you're a golfer out there that wants to play golf at a Division 1 level that maybe you're around 160 mile an hour ball speed. You can elevate that to 170 or 175, and you'll start to see, potentially your opportunities open up. He wholeheartedly agreed with the lag putting sentiment. I think most people will. If you're not 3-putting, it's really hard to give strokes away on the greens. When you 3-putt in the strokes gain metric, which is a metric that determines effectively how many strokes you're gaining or losing versus your skill level. 3-putts are the biggest thing that kills you there. So being an excellent lag putter, I think, is important for golfers of any and all levels, not just aspiring touring professionals or amateur golfers. Number 3 is meditation. I think this episode, it really got expanded. Like, yes, meditation is incredibly important. Well, we started to talk about things like self-belief. We started to talk about things like just having an understanding of and autonomy surrounding your own game. Like, Ryan talked a little bit about his 2013 US Open experience where he was more worried about what the Konica Minolta BizHub Swing Vision was going to say about his swing. He has a little bit of a short backswing. Maybe some people would say it's technically a little unorthodox looking. But his competitive scoring average this year was 68. I don't know if you would look that up. A 68 scoring average is probably going to pay you $6 to $7 million on the PGA Tour this year. He missed qualifying, I want to say 9 or 10 times by one shot for PGA Tour and Korn Ferry Tour events this year. So, one of the other really big things that we talked about in conclusion to that is, yes, swing mechanics are very important, but his whole thing was you need to have an autonomy and an understanding of your game, what makes it work, and also what doesn't. His biggest thing was he regretted chasing swing perfection, and that's certainly something that, if you guys know me in real life, like that's something that I've really chased for a while. Relatively speaking, I have a decently technically sound golf swing, but I feel I liken it to I have an F1 car and I drive it like it's an Oldsmobile. Whereas Ryan is able to drive his vehicle like an F1 car. He has an understanding of where his ball goes. And, whenever I've seen him play in real life, he hits certain shots to certain pins and he just has a certain level of control over his game that I think we can all aspire to have. So, retracting back here, speed, he would agree with. Lag putting, 100% agree with. He would like to expand on the mental side of things into, a little bit of self-belief and a little bit of meditation. And then he added one, which was timing and playing well at the right time. This is something that I'm starting to see a little bit of a trend, and you'll see in interviews that we have coming up here that timing is most certainly a very important thing. He mentioned Ryan Cole, who was the leader on the G Pro money list. that has just been dominating, and he missed at stage 2, and as we're recording this, unfortunately, Ryan missed at stage 2 as well, but Ryan made 21 birdies, so he ended up shooting, I think, 3 or 4 under for the 4 days and missed out by a couple. Maybe if a couple of putts fall his way, like it's such a finite and fickle game that I hate to say timing, and I'll be curious as we speak with other players if timing continues to be something that is on the docket, because I definitely feel like it's going to be. But you know, ultimately, those are kind of the 4 big pillars right now. I really want to drill down moving forward the timing side of it, sure, but I think there's an element of the mental side that can affect the timing. So I really want to get into that and help drill down what those mental skills are. I have a really cool surprise coming up. I have one of the top performance coaches in the world. Very honored to have him on. I won't say his name yet, but just super pumped for all the guests that I have coming up. I really hope you guys are enjoying this process. This is like the coolest thing to me. So, hope you guys are enjoying. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.